right here, aka MrBoxDie.com, aka Mr. Holla at your motherfucking boy. So, I'm talking about Gary Russell versus, man, shit. I forgot the guy's name. Umdraza, I think that's his name. I might be fucking it up, but okay. Anyway, first let me start off by saying peace to the God, Gary Russell. I saw the unk around his neck. So peace, brother. He got himself a good victory versus a very game opponent. This guy clearly came to fight. I mean, he was on Gary Russell like white on rice. And, you know, it made for a very entertaining fight overall. The guy displayed his skills and, you know, he had some pretty good skills. He was throwing some good combinations here and there. And, you know what I mean? And he showed a little bit of defense. And, you know, he was doing some pretty nice things. And you never would have thought Ruben Guerrero was his trainer. I mean, you know, got to take a shot at that motherfucker. All the slick shit he done said. But the guy was game. He was very good. He was very live. I think this was a really good fight in general, and it was a good fight for Gary Russell coming off of a long layoff. And, you know, Gary Russell, man, even after coming off of that long layoff, he didn't really look ring rusty at all, man. The guy was pretty sharp. He was fast as normal, stood there in the pocket, no movement, throwing good, solid combinations, picking his spots. He was looking very, very good, and his punch variation was very good as well. Up top, bottom, up top, you know, throwing those body shots, hooks, uppercuts, you know, jabs, those sort of things. He was mixing up his punches very well to the point where the guy, I forgot his name, he just couldn't account for all the punches and where they were coming from. So it was a beautiful fight from Gary Russell. You know, he retains his WBC, featherweight championship of the world, and moves on to bigger and better things. And, you know, he talked about, in the post-fight interview, he talked about moving up, you know, possibly moving up and fighting those guys at 130 and that sort of thing. But you know what? I mean, he may have to do it, man. You know, these guys at the smaller weight divisions, they really have a hard time fighting people. Like, they really have a hard time fighting people. They were talking about some of the other champions in the division, Leo Santa Cruz, and I forgot the other guy's name that they mentioned, man. I have a terrible memory, by the way, just in case you guys were wondering. Constantly forget shit. But, you know, those guys in the smaller weight division, they have a hard time fighting people. So Leo Santa Cruz, and they have the other guy who has the title. And he was talking about unifying with them. I think that's definitely a good look. I think he should definitely pursue those fights. I don't know the likelihood of those fights being made simply because those guys don't like fighting people. Leo Santa Cruz, it took him forever just to fight Carl Frampton. All right, he fought Carl Frampton after everybody ducked Rigo, by the way. We got to put that shit out there. These motherfuckers all ducked Rigo, and they're all pieces of shit, in my opinion. But, you know, it took him forever to fight Frampton. He fought Frampton. He lost to Frampton for that first time. Then he fought Frampton again. Frampton won the second time. Now, of course, there has to be a third fight. I don't know when that third fight is going to be scheduled, or, you know, when or how or whatever, because the first and second fight were very close. I don't even know if a third fight would decide it. You know, until somebody gets knocked out, we might have to keep watching these two little motherfuckers fight it out. You know what I mean? And both of their ass duck Rigo. I just feel like I got to stick that in there again. But all in all, Gary Russell's looking for that. If he doesn't get that, he's going to move up to 130, which I think that he should do, of course, if he can't get any of those fights. But I think he should definitely give it some time before he actually moves up. Even if he can't get any of those fights right away, he should take a few more fights versus some competition at featherweight at 126 and get some work in there and just try to be a little active. If he's going to move up, I want to see him fight a good 3 or 4 more times before he moves up. Even if it's against bums, because these guys don't want to fight him. Fight your bums. You know what I mean? And then after you got about 3 or 4 bums under your belt, then go ahead and move up to 130 because ain't nobody trying to see you. Call these motherfuckers out. Be active with calling these. I'm telling you, these people in boxing, they need to understand. Call these motherfuckers out. Get on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and call all these punk ass motherfuckers out. Let them know you want to fight. And after them 3 or 4 bums that you done fought at the division because you were trying to make those fights with the other champions in the division, if that doesn't happen, go on ahead and move the fuck on up to 130 and get some of those guys at 130. And you know, 130 is starting to look stacked. You know, you got Tank Davis now at 130. He got the IBF. You got you got Lomachenko. He got the WBO. You know, I mean, some very stiff competition up there at 130. So, you know what I mean? If that don't work, go ahead up to 130 and do your thing. You know what I mean? And Gary Russell, based on his performance tonight, should do well against anybody. And watching him tonight, I think he really did have an off night versus Lomachenko. And in a rematch, I'm very curious to see what would happen in a rematch. But again, I think Gary Russell should go after some other guys and get some more experience fighting top level opposition, because ultimately I think that was the problem with him fighting Lomachenko in the first place. When he fought Lomachenko, he hadn't really fought any top level opposition at that point, period. He literally went from 0 to 100. You know what I mean? You go from fighting no competition to probably the best featherweight slash super featherweight in the world. You know what I mean? Like, no. You gradually make that transition from bum status to good to okay to all right to good, and then then you get the Lomachenko. All right. Anyway, though, let me know your thoughts. Hit it up in the comment section below. You could also hit me up on Facebook, box minus sign or minus sign die. You get me up on Twitter, box X or X die. Like the video, subscribe, share the video, all that bullshit. But until next time, it's your buddy Dynamite signing out. Holla at your motherfucking boy.